Hi there, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we've got a bit of a special episode because this is something that I don't think I would have bought myself unless a sample was given to me by a friend. That friend, in fact, was the Whiskey Friend, Alan, another YouTube channel. So if you want to go and check him out, I'll put a link up here and you can go and have a look at his channel. Really good whiskey. He's another one of the channels that's really into the sharing of stuff. So he gave me this sample when I met him very, very briefly in Glasgow. Really wish I'd have been able to sit down and chat to him more, but it was a really busy place and my attention was all over the shop. But yeah, still glad to have shook his hand and to get this sample off him because this is going to help me move on in my rye journey. This year, 2019, has been all about kind of introducing myself to rye and you joining me on that journey. So this is another one of those. This one's a little bit daunting, however. So we have the WhistlePig 100% rye, and this one is 61.2%, so I'm expecting it to be an absolute monster. Now this one in particular was a hand-picked bottle by Nichols and Perks, but before I get anywhere else into the review, at time of recording they still had 15 of these bottles left in stock. I was expecting it to be out of stock. They're selling it for £105, and what you're getting for that is a 61% 100% rye that's farm manufactured. It's well, it's distilled at Alberta Distillers, but it's chosen by WhistlePig Farms and bottled at WhistlePig Farms, and I think there's even some kind of final aging process at the farm itself. It's this whole kind of farm to bottle kind of vibe that they're trying to get on. They've done a couple of special bottlings. Nichols and Perks is one of them. The British Bourbon Society is another. So in honour of that, I've got my British Bourbon Society glass down here. And that is underneath coin number 173, so if you're interested in that coin or any others, don't forget to check out the description below, see how to get hold of them. Now, a bit more about this specific bottle. It's number 16 out of 132 bottles, that's all they got out of there. Hand-picked by Nichols and Perks, and it's a 10-year-old single barrel offering. Not a lot to dislike there. You know, the price sounds a little high, but we'll get into this now and we'll see if it's really worth it. Because they do a 10-year-old as it is, a kind of standard bottling that you can get hold of in the UK, probably worldwide as well. That's a 50%er and that sells for around about 80 quid. So we're talking about £25 more for another 11.2% and a single barrel vibe. Let's get onto the nose and see what we've got. Now, before I give any notes on this, I should say as well that I've been really struggling with ryes this year. I've enjoyed what I've been trying, but I haven't really found that one that's really clicked with me. The first time I ever tried a rye that I really enjoyed was the Michter's single barrel rye, which I haven't been able to cover on the channel yet. It's a very expensive whiskey. Let's see what this one has in comparison to that. Now, straight up, I don't think I would have called this at 61.2%, but the ABV is quite clearly high right from the nose. I've had this sat out on the side for a little bit, so it's kind of a bit more understated, and of course my nose is kind of really used to high ABVs now, but I don't recommend you sticking your snolls straight in there. I'm getting mostly vanillas, but there's huge menthol notes, and weirdly some kind of oranges on the back end. Now the menthol is really my kind of first indicator that it's a rye. If I was trying this blind, I'd want to say it was a rye, but it's difficult to say. This is 100% rye. Let's try on the palate. Boom. 61.2%. All of it there is on your tongue. It's such a huge ABV flavour. Next up is spices, stuff like cloves, those kind of like Christmassy clove vibes. Quite clearly a lot of rye, menthol things going on as well. Here's where it gets interesting for me. Once you get past that ABV, high spices going on, there's a load of juicy cherries in there, and more of them oranges that are just, it's just so juicy, so flavourful. And a finish, it just keeps going on and on and on and on, evolving as your kind of palate gets used to the fact that you've had this high ABV on there. Once the spice disappears, the cherries are coming through, a touch more kind of dry spice on the back end as well. So it's kind of evolving, revolving, all these kind of weird stuff. But it's pretty much the entire package. It's this huge whiskey. And I guess you could play around with water. If I had the actual bottle of this, I think I might have played around with water a little bit to see what else I could do with it. But the other thing to note about this particular bottle is that we're not even talking about a 70 sil bottle, we're talking about a 75 sil. So you're getting that extra couple of drams in there for not much extra really. Now, typically on the channel, anything above £50 needs serious consideration from me to recommend. Usually there's something comparative that's a lot cheaper that I can say, all right, don't spend £100 on that when you can spend 80 quid on this alternative that's about the same. This, so far, I mean, I haven't tried many ryes, and there'll be plenty of people that can recommend some stuff in the comments below, I'm sure. But I've only tried one other thing that compares to this, and that was that Michter's toasted rye that I talked about a bit earlier. Really nice whiskey, but that's pushing 120, 105 pounds. So 150, sorry, 105 pounds for this seems like a bit of a bargain to me. That's an exceptional price, and I really have to say I recommend it. So much so that I'm actually half tempted to go out and buy a bottle myself. Something I'll have to consider, but that's how good I really think this is. One of the first ryes I've tried on this channel that I've really thought, actually, this might be the one for me. So much so that I'm going to turn the camera off and enjoy this one off screen.